Hey everybody, welcome back to Seer&Sundry. I'm December, and today I'm doing Avalon's tarot tag. I will link you all to Avalon's video in the description box below. This is a tag that is like a year old, but I figured I'd go ahead and answer the questions here on video because I thought it'd be a better way to get to know me as a tarot reader for me to answer these questions than for me to do this like long diatribe or blog post about my background as a tarot reader and how I read and all that. So I was trying to make this as fun as possible. If you have any other questions for me or would like clarification on the questions that I'm answering today, please feel free to comment them below or send me a message and I will try and answer them as best as I can. So let's get started. They are 29 questions, and I'll try and be as entertaining as possible as I answer them. The question number 1 is, what initially drew you to tarot, and how old were you? I started learning about tarot in conjunction with learning about witchcraft when I was a teenager. I was probably around 14 or 15 when tarot came into my realm of study, but it wasn't until I was 18 and 19 that I was very serious in my studies. So, number 2 is, when did you acquire your first personal tarot deck? That was when I was about 14 or 15, probably 15. My darling friend Busy gave me my first tarot deck. And as much as I appreciated her giving it to me and my being able to use a tarot deck, it was not one that resonated with me, and I have since gifted it on. Number 3 is, are you a fan of the Rider-Waite-Smith system or the Thoth system? I'm a fan of both, but for different reasons. I think the Rider-Waite system or the Rider-Waite-Smith system is much easier for learning, for teaching tarot, and for reading for others as far as traditionally. The Thoth system, and specifically the Thoth deck from Aleister Crowley, I use more for intuitive reading and for channeling. So I don't read traditionally with that deck. Number 4 is, what type of reader or tarot reader are you? I'm a professional tarot reader. I have been since 2009, and I read kind of holistically, and I can also read intuitively and traditionally. And I will incorporate both my intuitive feelings and the traditional method of reading in my readings for clients. As far as being a holistic reader, what I mean by that is, say you were ordering a reading from me and you wanted it to clarify some stuff going on in your relationship. The reading will probably incorporate a lot to do with your relationship. It will also look into other aspects of your life that are either being affected by your relationship or are affecting your relationship, because I believe a mind, body, spirit balance is necessary for happiness. And so if you've got something going on in your life, it's going to affect everything else. That's what I mean. Number 5. Do you use tarot for pathworking, meditation, manifestation, etc.? Yes. I use tarot for my, personal meditation work, ritual work, counseling, all of that. Number 6, do you do daily draws? Yes, I do. I would like to clarify that I do daily card draws. That it's not always my tarot deck that I use. Sometimes I use an oracle deck, or sometimes I do both. Number 7, do you utilize a tarot journal? And if so, what are the benefits of a tarot journal in your opinion? I do use a tarot journal. There are many benefits to using a tarot journal, including, especially, in my opinion, if you are just now learning the tarot. Then I cannot emphasize enough that you need a tarot journal. I wrote a full blog post about tarot journaling and the benefits of it, and I will link that below, because it's going to explain it a lot better than I could in this video off the top of my head. And I don't think it would be very fun for me to just read you what I wrote. Number 8, would you consider yourself a tarot collector, or do you stay true to 1 or 2 decks only? I am a tarot collector. I have over 20 tarot decks currently. I've had more in the past, but I tend to gift on the ones that don't resonate with me very well. But yeah, I'm definitely a tarot collector. I'm actually kind of a bit of a dork about it. So, number 9, how do you bond with a deck? I'll go ahead and use my most recent tarot deck purchase as an example, and that's the Chrysalis Tarot. I bond with a deck, 1, by reading with it every day. So my daily draws, whenever I buy a new deck, will incorporate that new deck for at least a month, if not longer. This has been more than a month, and I love this deck, but it's taking me a while to really feel like I know it. Another part that I do to bond with my deck is I make a new home. Ooh, let me just throw it. I make a new home for my deck. So here's one I made by crocheting it. I took into account the deck's colors, so let me go ahead and pull a card out. So I took the deck's colors and I chose yarn. And this actually looks a lot closer in real life than it does on the camera. And I'm guessing it's just how the lighting is reflecting off the card versus the yarn. But so I chose the colors based on the colors in the deck, and I also chose, let's see if they'll come out. I also chose 2 stones. I usually choose only 1, but this deck required 2 for some reason. I chose 2 stones to go with this tarot deck, and that was blue goldstone, which I know is man-made, but it was screaming at me when I bought the deck. So blue goldstone and citrine, which I'm guessing a lot had to do with the colors. So anyway, those are the stones that I chose, and that's all part of my process. I meditate with the deck, I journal about the deck, I read about the deck, especially the Chrysalis, which has kind of its own system. So yeah, that's a very brief way of how I bond with my cards. So I will probably answer that question plus the next question in more detail in a different video, because there's a lot that goes into that. The next question is, do you cleanse, bless, empower, etc. your decks? Yes, I do. Part of my bonding process is the empowerment process, which is making the new home and putting the crystals with it. Most of the time I'll put crystals that are either empowering, which is this case. Goldstone is made with copper, so it's a conductor of energy. And the blue has its own properties, such as protection and psychism. It has to do with the third eye. And then citrine is a manifestation stone, and it's connected with the solar chakra, or the solar plexus chakra, and it's there's a lot of other properties about citrine. But anyway, these are empowering stones for the deck. If I don't choose specific stones like that, then I will at least put a clear quartz crystal or a selenite crystal in with my deck for cleansing. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to do another video just about those 2 questions about bonding, cleansing, and empowering and blessing your deck, because there's just so much that goes into it. Number 11, do you adhere to any tarot superstitions? I do shuffle my cards at least 3 times between readings, but other than that, I don't think so. That at least I can think of. Oh, I do adhere to the one that if a card falls out while I'm shuffling, that card must be read. Now, if it's like half my deck falls out of my hand, it just means I'm clumsy. Or it has something to do with the shuffle, and I read the shuffle just like I read the deck, and certain shuffles mean certain things to me. But if a card or two falls out of the deck while I'm shuffling, then I will read those. Do you integrate significator cards into your readings? It depends, and then I will use my I will choose them differently. For life path readings, which deals with astrology, then I will choose your significator card or my significator card by your astrological sign. If it's an in-depth reading, then I will choose the significator card as part of the draw, which means it'll be just drawn out just like every other card. I don't go through the deck and choose it. Number 13 is, do you prefer to use spreads or do you read freeform? I do both. I would do freeform usually for myself unless it's like an in-depth reading I need for a problem I'm having. And sometimes I'll freeform a spread if I can't think of a spread that fits the situation best. But usually I use spreads. So yeah, I do both. Number 14, what is your tarot birth card? That would be Temperance, because I'm a Sagittarius. Number 15 is, what is your favorite tarot card? This will vary from deck to deck, and it will vary from day to day sometimes. I don't know if I can get to the one in this deck right offhand. We will see. I really like the Queen of Wands. And I really like... So this is Barbara Moore's Steampunk deck. And I'm a really big fan of her High Priestess. I just love the look of it. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll see I also have a top hat that I love. So, yeah, totally love that card. But yeah, that's the Barbara Moore deck. And the case I made for it is all steampunky as well. Sorry, I lost my place in my questions. Favorite tarot card, so Queen of Wands, or it varies from deck to deck. What deck are you currently working with at present? I'm still working with and bonding with the Chrysalis Tarot, but I'm also using the Rider-Waite deck for readings and the Osho Zen Tarot for readings. What is your favorite tarot deck in this moment in time? I'm really loving the Chrysalis Tarot, but I'm also I still really love Barbara Moore's Steampunk Tarot. So this is a definite contender of it's in my top 3. The Chrysalis is getting up there. I'm really loving this deck. What is your least favorite tarot deck? I have yet, now let me say that I've used 3 decks that are called the Witches Tarot or the Tarot of the Witches or something like that. And all 3 of them I've disliked. I don't know what it is. I don't like decks that are oversimplified and don't have a lot of symbolism or imagery on them. And most of the decks that I've run across that are the Witches Tarot, the Tarot of the Witches, don't have a lot of symbolism. And I'm like, how am I supposed to read this without full-on memorization, which is just... I can do it, but it's not my favorite. I might as well just read with a deck of playing cards. Which is an option. But yeah, I don't really like those decks. I've yet to use, as far as which tarot decks, I've yet to use Ellen Dugan's. So I'm not going to say I hate all of them. I'm just saying the ones I've tried I didn't like. I also am not a fan of the Cat Tarot decks so the Black Cat Tarot, the Cat People Tarot, those I didn't like those either. What is your cheekiest deck? My cheekiest deck is either the Toth deck, because it has a way of like bitch slapping you. I mean, I'm just being for real, people. And then there's, as far as just decks, the Brian Froud's Fairy Oracle deck is really cheeky. Like, I don't even read that deck for a lot of people because it has a tendency to be really upfront and kind of mischievous. Number 20, do you own any self-published decks? No, I did. I did own the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. I gifted that on because it just was not resonating with me, and I'm glad I did because the lady I gave it to is in love with that deck. So, number 21, what is your tarot pet peeve? Okay, here's my pet peeve, guys. I read at events, so I get a little bit of everybody. I get some strange people. I get some people that are nice. I get some people who are not nice. You know, it just comes with reading for public. However, my pet peeve is when somebody sits down at my tarot table and pays me and then proceeds to tell me how to read tarot, how to do my job. And it's annoying, and sorry, I saw something move out of the corner of my eye, so that's why I kept looking at that, but I think it was a bird outside. It's just really annoying. One, why are you paying me so you can tell me what you think I'm doing wrong? It doesn't make any sense. And then two, I've been doing this since 2009 after a year-long mentorship of learning how to read tarot professionally, not just learning how to read the tarot, but how to do it in a professional setting. And I'm totally open to recommendations and tips and tricks and stuff. I feel like I'm learning about tarot all the time. But I've literally had, and it's usually an older woman who does this, act like I have no idea what I'm talking about, and a lot of their assumptions are based on the fact that I look very young. And I know I look younger than I am, especially on certain days, and depending on what I'm wearing and all of that. I've had people mistake me as a 16-year-old, and I'm definitely not 16, but it does affect how people view me. My other tarot pet peeve that's in the same vein is for people to linger around my tarot table and talk to me. And, you know, I'm like asking them, do you want a reading? And they're like, no, I get my readings from this person instead, which is fine. You get your readings from where you are comfortable. I'm all for that. But then would continue to linger around and ask me questions about how I read, only to tell me that, oh, well, she does this and it's so much better. It seems a little rude, and you'd think that people would, I don't know, I don't understand the thought process behind doing that. So those are my pet peeves. Number 22, do you believe that you can give yourself an accurate reading on a matter that you are heavily invested in? Yes, but you have to be really careful because bias is definitely a thing. I highly recommend that if you are highly invested emotionally, financially, whatever, into whatever you're asking the tarot, and you're not sure if you can keep away from bias, please go and have somebody else read your cards or go to another kind of reader. So, like in the past, I've gone to a reader, and I've talked about this in my blog, Why Psychologists Sees a Psychologist. When I was going through a very emotional time with my miscarriage and other parts, you know, depression and all this other stuff, rather than focusing on reading for myself, I went to a psychic who is a medium, and she helped me a lot. So, even if you're uncomfortable or don't know of another professional tarot reader that you feel like you can go to, going to another reader of any kind will be a lot of help. But yeah, I think that you can. You just got to be really careful and check your biases, and I will probably write a blog post about this in the future. Number 23, have you studied numerology, Kabbalah, astrology, etc. as part of your tarot studies? Yes. I think it's very important that if you're going to read tarot traditionally, that you do learn numerology, astrology, Kabbalah, Gnosticism, etc. Number 24. What are your opinions on tarot and divination? I do use tarot for divination. I use it for other things as well. It's not just fortune telling that you can use tarot for. You can use it for other things. But yeah, I use tarot for divination. I have no issue with it at all. I think that it's actually can be pretty accurate. But you also have to keep in mind that the decisions you make after you get up from that tarot reading will affect your future. So if you don't like what the tarot has said is coming up for you, you can change it. Just like if you do like what it said, but you make a huge decision between now and that time period, you can affect that. Number 25. Have you ever lost or damaged a tarot deck? Yes. I've had pets that have gotten to my cards. I've had cards lost out of a deck, and these are called broken decks. And what I do is I use my broken decks in art. So I have different art projects for broken decks, and in fact I have a broken deck right now that just has certain, like the major arcana and court cards that I'm using in a tarot wall hanging, but it's a long process, but I'll eventually show you all that whenever it's finished. Have you ever inspired another to want to learn tarot? Yes. I know I've inspired at least 2 of my clients that now want to learn tarot, and I've also taught how to read tarot intuitively. And every time I read tarot at an event, I always have somebody come up to me who is interested in learning tarot, and because of that, I will soon have a course or program up to teach tarot intuitively, but I don't have my launch date for that yet. Number 27. Do you use tarot in conjunction with any other esoteric or divinatory tools? Yes. I've used tarot in conjunction with pendulums, and I've used tarot in conjunction with scrying, and I've used tarot in conjunction with runes, but runes don't resonate with me as much as scrying or pendulums. Number 28. What is a person... Again, I think I wrote this down wrong. What is a personal tarot no-no? Something that crosses the boundaries of your personal code of ethics. I suppose it's I won't tell people that they are going to die. If something comes up and I think that they have something dangerous coming in their future or an illness that isn't getting better, I will tell them, but I will also pull another card asking the tarot for advice on avoiding this. I won't... How do I put this? I've had people at events who I'm sure meaning well or trying to be humorous and lighten the mood have said, if I pay you a little extra, will it make my tarot reading better? And while I'll smile and laugh, that is not something that I will encourage or do. I read the cards, I tell you what the cards say. I cannot help if it's not exactly what you want to hear right now. So that leaves us with number 29, the very last question of this tarot tag, and it's, if you could give one piece of tarot advice to another, perhaps a beginner, what would it be? That would be to not worry about the one true way of reading tarot. If you are more of an intuitive person, then please feel free to read intuitively. If somebody tells you that you have to use a certain deck, but you really don't like that deck, then don't use that deck. I know people who don't like the Rider-Waite deck. I do recommend the Rider-Waite deck if you take a class with me, but there are other Rider-Waite decks out there, including the Golden and Universal and a few others. So I would be perfectly okay with you bringing those rather than the traditional Rider-Waite or Rider-Waite-Smith or whatever. If you are reading the cards and you get a message from that card that is against like what the little white book says, go with what you get from the card, because that's going to be the truer reading in my opinion. But don't worry about doing things the right way so much. I guess that's my biggest piece of advice. Also, remember to be gentle with yourself when you're learning something new, because I have been reading since 2009 and I'm still learning something new about tarot like every day. So just be gentle with yourself. Don't be too criticizing of yourself. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video and learned a little bit more about me. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact me. I will have my contact information below. Or if you're watching this video on the website, you can contact me through the navigation bar above, the Contact Me button. If you would like a reading from me, check out the tarot reading page from the navigation bar if you're on the website, or check out my link below. And that will give you my upcoming events if you would like a kind of a taste of my kind of readings. It would also give you more information about my in-depth readings. So thank you all for watching. I really had fun doing this video, and I hope that you'll return soon. Bye.